Advice to the youth. Mark Twain. Being told I would be expected to talk here, I inquired what sort of talk I ought to make. They said it should be something suitable to youth, something didactic, instructive, or something in nature of good advice. Very well. I have a few things in my mind which I have uttered, often longed to say for the instruction of the young. For it is in one's tender early years that such thing will best take root and be most enduring and most valuable. First, then, I will say to you, my young friends, and I say it beseechingly, urgingly, always obey your parents when they are present. This is the best policy in the long run, because if you don't, they will make you. Most parents think they know better than you do, and you can generally make more by humoring that superstition than you can by acting on your own better judgment. Be respectful to your superior, if you have any, also to strangers, and sometimes to others. If a person offends you and you are in doubt as to do whether it was intentionally or not, do not resort to extreme measure. Simply watch your chance and hit him with a brick. That will be sufficient. If you shall find that he had not intended any offence, come out frankly and confess yourself in the wrong. When you struck him, acknowledgment it will a man and say you didn't mean it. Yes, you always avoid violence in this age of charity and kindliness. The time has gone by for such things. Leave dynamite to the low and unrefined. Go to the bed early, get up early. This is wise. Some authorities say get up with the sun, some say get up with one thing, others with another. But a lark is really the best thing to get up with. It gives you a splendid reputation with everybody to know that you get up with the lark. And if you get the right kind of lark and work at him right, you can easily train him to get up at 9:30 every time. It's not trick or at all. Now, as the matter of lying, you want to be very careful about lying, otherwise, you are nearly sure to be caught. Once caught, you can never again be in the eyes to good and the pure, what you were before. Many a young person has injured himself permanently through a single clumsy and ill-finished lie, the result of carelessness born of incomplete training. Some authorities hold that the young ought not to lie at all. That, of course, is putting it rather stronger than necessary. Still, while I cannot go quite so far as that, I do maintain, and I believe I am right, and that the young ought to be temperate in the use of this great art until practice and experience shall give them that confidence, elegance, and precious which alone can make the accomplishment grateful and profitable. Patient, diligent, painstaking attention to detail, these are requirements. This, in time, will make the student perfect. Upon this only may he rely as the sure foundation for future enemies. Think what territorious years of study, thought, patient experience went to the epitment of the peerless old master who was able to impose upon the whole world the lofty and sounding maximum that truth is mighty and will prevail. The most majestic component factor of fact which man of woman born has yet achieved. For the history of our race and each individual's experience are sworn thick with evidence that is true in not hard to kill, and that a lie well told is immortal. There is in Boston a monument of the man who discovered anesthesia. Many people are aware in these later days that that man didn't discover it at all but stole the discovery from another man. Is this true mighty and will it prevail? Ah no, my hearers, the movement is made of hardly material, but the lie it tells will outlast it an million years. An awkward fable, Linky lie, is a thing which you ought to make it. It you unceasing study to avoid. Such a lie as that has no more real prevalence than an average truth. Why you might say, well, tell the truth at once and be done with it. A Babel stupid posterior's lie will not live 2 years, except it will be slandered upon somebody. It will industriable then of course, but that is no merit of yours. A final word begin your practice of this gracious and beautiful art early. Begin now. If I had begun earlier, I could have learned how. Never handle firearms carelessly. The sorrow and suffering that have been caused through the innocent but heedless handling of firearms by the young only 4 days ago, right in the next farmhouse to the one where I am spending the summer. A grandmother, old and grey and sweet, one of the loveliest spirits in the land, was sitting at her work when her young grandson crept in and got down an old, battered, rusty gun which had not been touched for many years, and was supposed not to be loaded, and pointed it at her. Laughing and threatening to shoot, in her fright she ran screaming and pleading towards the door in the other side of the room. But as she passed him, he placed the gun almost against her very breast and pulled the trigger. He had supposed it was not loaded, and he was right, it wasn't. So there wasn't any harm done. This is the only case of that kind I have ever heard of. Therefore, just the same, don't you meddle with old unloaded firearms. They are the most deadly and ear-ringing thing that have ever been created by man. You don't have to take any pains at with them. You don't have to take a rest. You don't have to any sights on the gun. You don't have to take aim even. No, you just pick out a relative and bang away, and you are sure to get him. A youth who can't hit a cathedral at 30 yards with a Gatling gun in 3/4 of an hour can take up an old empty busky and bag his grandmother every time at 100. Think that Waterloo could have been if one of the armies had been boys armed with old muskets, suppose, not to be loaded, and the other army had been composed of their female relation. The very thought of it makes one shudder. There are many sorts of books, but good ones are the sort for the young to read. Remember that. They are a great and inestimable and unspeakable means of improvement. Therefore, be careful in your selection, my young friends, be very careful. Confine yourself exclusively to Robertson's sermons, Basker's Saints' Rest, the Innocent Abroad, and works of that kind. But have said enough. I hope you will treasure up the instruction which I have given you, and make them a guide to your faith and a light to your understanding. Build your character through thoughtfully and painstakingly.